Namaste and welcome to Sonali Joshi's Astro Jyoti Healing. In this video, we are going to see effects of the lunar eclipse that is happening on the 25th and 26th of May 2021 on all signs. I am going to give in the description information about which parts will see this eclipse, which parts will see the eclipse in certain time, the parts where you should follow the rituals related to Sutak, and the parts where there is no need to follow any Sutak. So do check out the description if you are looking for what needs to be done on this lunar eclipse day. Usually we get 2 to 4 eclipses in a year, and to those of you who are familiar with astrology or astronomy know that these eclipses are usually in a pair. And in the same way, this year also we are having the lunar eclipse on 26th of May, and it is followed by solar eclipse on 10th of June. I am also going to post the solar eclipse video for all signs. Do check it when it gets published. To those of you who are new to astrology, this lunar eclipse is going to happen on the axis of Scorpio and Taurus. That means the planets that are going to conjunct Sun and Moon are going to be Rahu and Ketu, and the axis is going to be Scorpio and Taurus. Precisely, it is happening in the nakshatra of Anuradha in the sign of Scorpio. Now let us see what this eclipse will unfold for all signs, starting with Aries. If you have Moon in Aries, Mesh Rashi, it means the eclipse is going to happen in your 8th house. 8th house is about ending of things, sudden changes, something that is hidden. So Aries natives, whether you have Moon in Aries or you have Ascendant in Aries, be careful about sudden changes. And the key is you do not make any changes within the time frame of 15 days of the eclipse. The changes does not mean everything is going to be bad. Eclipse doesn't mean everything is going to be bad. However, for the time being, it does denote that you will be running high emotions, very much energized emotions, and in that emotional front, you may take a decision which you will regret later, and hence it is advisable not to take any decision in that window. Sometimes, depending on the other karma or other planets in the horoscope, when eclipse is happening in the 8th house, people do get money. They get inheritance money, they get money that was due before. So eclipse is not always bad. However, eclipse does mean your ability to think straight is kind of compromised. If you have Moon in Taurus, Vrishabh Rashi, the eclipse is going to be happening in your 7th house. Your radical axis is going to be part of this eclipse. That means you may notice sudden changes, or you may feel something that is highly energized in terms of partnerships. Whether it is business partnership or it is a personal partnership, be careful about it. If it is related to your spouse, make sure you take care of health of your spouse. Also, do not make any last minute changes. Typically, starting anything good during the eclipse time should be prohibited. There are no muhurtas for marriages, forming a company, starting something new, buying a car, buying a home. All these decisions should be postponed for the time being. If you have Moon in Gemini, Mithun Rashi, the eclipse is going to happen in your 6th house. 6th house is about your maternal relatives. It is about your dates and diseases and your competition. Eclipse happening there is in a way good thing. However, just remember you are not making any last minute changes. Fortunately, your Rashi Lord or your Lagna Lord Mercury is not part of the eclipse. So, the effects that you will notice should be minimum. If you have moon in Cancer, Karka Rashi, it is lunar eclipse. That means people who have ascendant in Cancer, moon in Cancer, or many planets in the Karka Rashi are going to notice effects of this eclipse. We have moon conjunct Ketu, and hence you may notice, depending on the fifth house, suddenly somebody will leave you. You may have spark of creativity, or it could be just simply as you may be really worried regarding some exam, or if you have kids, you will be worried about your kids. Always remember, eclipse is a time of higher emotions. Try to control them. Do not make any last minute changes into anything that is related to the fifth house. It's a good idea not to invest on that day in the stock market. If you have moon in Leo, Simha Rashi, the eclipse is happening in your fourth house. Fourth house is about family, your vehicles, your home, homeland, regular routines, rhythms, and security. If you are living with your parents, if you are with your family, always remember, do not make any last minute changes to the routines that you usually follow. You may be worried about your mother's health, or you may be worried regarding the collections that you have in the household. Let the eclipse pass, and then you can make whatever changes you have to. In eclipse, usually everybody around that time frame should be careful about the health. If you have moon in Virgo, Kanya Rashi, the eclipse is happening in your third house. Fortunately, your Rashi Lord or Lagna Lord, that is Mercury, it is not part of the eclipse, so you should receive minimum effects of the eclipse. So you may notice that you are worried or you are bothered by some of the teammates, maybe your siblings. Just remember, do not act in a hurry or haste. Take your time, think about the situation, and then make the changes later. If you have moon in Libra, Tula Rashi, eclipse is happening in your second house. Second house is about family, earnings, your speech, and it's about your food intake. Do not make any last minute changes around the eclipse. And the eclipses are coming in pair, so those 15 days, one should be always very careful. You may notice that you are worried about some of the family members, or you may be worried about how the finances will be in this time frame. Let the eclipse pass, and then you can make some changes related to that. Eclipses are not permanent, it is a temporary thing, so there is no need to be afraid of them, but you should always be aware of them. If you have moon in Scorpio, Vrishchik Rashi, your sign is the sign where eclipse is happening. This lunar eclipse is happening in the nakshatra of Anuradha in the sign of Scorpio. So all the Vrishchik natives should be careful about their own physical health. Make sure you take all the precautions right away. If something is bothering you, seek medical help. Eclipse is about having high tide of emotions. So just be careful about not to take any decision abruptly, suddenly in that time frame. Fortunately, your Rashi Lord Mars is not part of that eclipse. However, the co-lord Ketu is always the part of the eclipse. Try to detach yourself from the negativity and focus on the positive things in your life. If you have moon in Sagittarius, Dhanu Rashi, the eclipse is happening in your 12th house. 12th house is about expenses. It is about investing in yourself. 12th house is also about the foreign lands. It is about your sleep and your own privacy. Whenever there is eclipse happening, it means you may be running with the high emotions related to all the things that are signified by 12th house. Always remember, do not act immediately. Take your time, take your time, think about it, and let the both eclipses pass, and then you can make any changes in terms of investments or anything that is related to 12th house. It is always a good idea to invest your time into some spiritual activities. You may take up some meditation, and remember, it is about high emotions, so do not react. Fortunately, your Rashi Lord Jupiter is not part of the eclipse, so hopefully you will have minimum effects from this eclipse. If you have moon in Capricorn, Makar Rashi, for all the Makar natives, eclipse is happening in the 11th house. 11th house is about gains, about your desires. So you will notice maybe your friends are not reacting well. Maybe sudden changes are there in terms of gains or the profits that you are receiving. It could be temporary thing. Your Rashi Lord Saturn is also going to be retrograde. That is one more thing. Hence, there is lot of karma that you are going to carry out. The only thing that one should remember is take care of your health, take care of your emotions, and do not react abruptly. Do not make any important change during the time frame of those two eclipses. If you have moon in Aquarius, Kumbha Rashi, the eclipse is going to happen in your 10th house. Whether you are Aquarius ascendant or Aquarius moon sign, the eclipse is happening in the 10th house. So you might be worried about your father's health. You may be worried about some project at work, or the work environment may not be that supportive. However, do not change anything right away. The eclipses should be done by the mid of June, and then you can decide if you are going to change your job, whether you are going to change your location. But give it a time. Do not react emotionally. If you have moon in Pisces, Meen Rashi, eclipse is happening in your 9th house. 9th house is about duty. 9th house is about the dharma that you should follow. Always remember, do not make any abrupt changes in terms of the principles that you follow, the theories that you follow. It may happen that you have started doubting the traditional religions. It may happen that you do not believe in your mentor. I would suggest don't react abruptly. Let both the eclipses pass, and then you can make a change in whatever that is related to the 9th house. Fortunately, Jupiter is not part of eclipse. The signs Taurus and Scorpio are affected the most because eclipse is happening on that axis. Venus is part of eclipse, so the signs owned by it, that means Taurus as well as Libra, will also see some effect of the eclipse. Fortunately, Saturn and Jupiter and Mercury, Mars, they are not part of the eclipse, so the signs owned by them will not be affected that much, except for the Scorpio, because that is where the lunar eclipse is happening. Those of you who have moon in Anuradha, or those of you who have planets in the Anuradha Nakshatra, always be aware of the high emotional tide that we all will face, and do not react in a hurry. Have discipline about your daily routine. Invest your time into some spiritual activities, and handling this eclipse will be comparatively easy. To all the parts where eclipse is not visible, there is no need to follow any sutak. If eclipse is visible fully, then those are the parts where you are going to follow the rituals. And that is sutak. That means not trying to start anything that is auspicious. In general, all signs, people living all over the world can chant mantra of Lord Vishnu. Then you can chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. You can also do worship of Lord Shiva. If you believe in chanting Rahu Ketu mantra, you can always do that. The Navagraha Stotra is also advise that you can chant it. And on a practical basis, the best thing is donate something, help others, think about others ahead of you, and do not make any abrupt changes in the window of both eclipses. Let the solar eclipse be over and then you can decide if you're going to change something, changing of job, changing of schools for your kids, buying a new vehicle, buying new property, whatever it is, it can wait. The things that are the things that come under emergency has to be carried out irrespective of whatever the day it is. This information is to have awareness about how to take care during those days. It is not for creating any fear in your mind. Knowledge is enlightenment. Knowledge should be helpful. Knowledge should be used in the right way. And hence, I am sharing all these things with you. I hope this will help you going through the emotional tide quite well. If you think this video will help someone, please share this video with them. And if you think this is very helpful to you and your family members who are listening to this video, please subscribe. You can send an email to iamsonalijoshi@gmail.com for the reading. Do the donation and I'll do a reading for you. You can also check out other eclipse videos in the given link. Namaste. Thank you. Shubhamastu.